Good evening. We're going to begin tonight with the ongoing prison saga in Franklin County. Arkansas state lawmakers will not vote again on that $750 million appropriations bill that would support construction of the 3,000-bed prison. 5 News reporter Lauren Spencer joining us now in the studio with reaction from those on both sides of this huge issue. Lauren.
Yeah, Darren, after failing 5 times in the Senate President Bart Hester says he doesn't plan to call another vote unless he's sure the votes are there to pass it. He says he supports the bill, saying those who oppose the prison are putting local citizens in harm's way, as there are people committing crimes that should be behind bars. I spoke with him on what's next and the group against the project, who calls this a win.
Senate Bill 354 fails.
I wouldn't say it's dead. No, if 27 members come to me before the end of session today or Monday and say they're ready to vote on it, we'll vote on it.
Even though Senator Bart Hester says he's not optimistic there would be a vote on the funding bill by next Wednesday night, the state is planning to move forward.
We've already given the prison $75 million and permission to spend it, so we'll continue with architecture and engineering plans.
Hester says he doesn't anticipate this issue being discussed in a special session.
I have no intention of doing a special session. No, we'll come into fiscal session early next year. We've got plenty of time to start architecture and engineering drawings, and we'll address this in the fiscal session next year.
We see what comes next.
I met up with Adam Watson, a director for Gravel and Grit, who was on his way back from Little Rock watching this all play out.
Every time it failed, it was another time that the people have said, no, we don't want this project to move forward in its current iteration. Whether you support a prison, whether you don't, that's a debate for a different day. But this project, the way that it stands now and the way that they've tried to bring it about, is not right for Arkansas.
He says this was a win for their group as well as the whole state.
It's a bigger win than, you're right, the last time we spoke after the first failure. But it's still not the end of the fight. The job now is to go back to the drawing board for either a prison, if everybody still insists that's what we need, or for plans to better address the problem that the state's having.
We reached out to the governor's office and they sent us this statement saying the governor continues to stand with those in support of addressing the state's prison bed shortage to keep dangerous criminals out of communities.
So last night we heard from the Franklin County judge, who was pretty adamant that there has been little to no communication between Little Rock and his office.
Yeah, that's right. Franklin County Judge Ricky Bowman said nobody from the governor's office or Little Rock has reached out to him, contradicting claims from the governor's office. But from what you just heard from Senator Hester, the state is dead set on moving forward with planning the project.
At some point, apparently. All right, Lauren, thanks. Appreciate that. Meanwhile, a new version of a bill that would change rules on large animal farms in the Buffalo River watershed has passed a House committee. Legislation sparked a heated debate, with some proponents arguing it will help support farmers. Opponents, though, fear it could harm the water quality of the iconic river. Today, the bill's lead sponsor came to an agreement with the governor's office that would protect existing moratoriums. The bill has been returned to the House with a recommendation that it passes as amended. We've been seeing a rise in Texas, and now it's in Arkansas. We're talking about the measles. 2 cases today confirmed in Faulkner and Saline counties, both exposed during out-of-state travel. It is the first time since 2018 that measles have been reported in the state. The Department of Health says both cases involve pediatric patients who were unvaccinated and tested positive after traveling out of Arkansas. Health leaders say the patients also visited hospitals in central Arkansas this week. Health Department says no exposures have been identified at daycares or at schools. Now, the measles, a very highly contagious illness that can cause severe health complications. Symptoms include fever, cough, runny nose, and of course that rash comes as the CDC reports 600 cases of the measles across the country. Most of those cases are in West Texas. And for the first time, Health and Human Services Director Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has expressed explicit support for the measles vaccine, saying the most effective way to prevent the spread of measles is the MMR vaccine.
Clear sky out there this evening, seeing a lot of stars, winds out of the northwest. That's a recipe for some pretty cool temperatures by the time we wake up tomorrow morning, down into the 40s and 50s. It is going to be the coolest day of the week, but goodness, it's actually going to shake out to be a quite nice day. In fact, across parts of northwest Arkansas, we expect temperatures to warm up into, let's say, the 60s out there tomorrow. Not as warm as it was today, but certainly a comfortable day full of sunshine. In the River Valley, much of the same. That sunshine going to be with us not just tomorrow, but likely continuing well into the weekend. How about some low 70s in the River Valley tomorrow afternoon? Tracking a few things that you're going to want to know about. Not only is tomorrow going to be a little bit cooler, still comfortable, right? Weekend weather, goodness, it's shaping up to be just a fantastic spring weekend. But you know what happens in the spring? We get those April showers. I've taken away some rain chances, while other parts of next week, those chances starting to increase. We'll track that together here in just a few.
All right, Scott, thanks. The man accused of killing 2 people at a Fort Smith bar is being held in the Sebastian County Jail tonight. Police say they found Nafaz Ruwak at a home along North 38th Street near Tillis Park today. We're told he tried to run away after a task force found him hiding at the home. He's being accused of shooting and killing Brian Jones and Todd Jewell at a bar in Fort Smith last night. They were rushed to the hospital but died from injuries. Danny Bailey says he was just a few blocks up the street when it happened.
I want to come down here and drink a beer like I do every evening. Shoot a game of pool, drink a couple of beers, and I come around the corner and there's 13,000 cop cars and fire trucks and ambulance and a helicopter flying over, and I said, nope, this is not a good time to go.
Ruwak now facing 2 charges of first-degree murder. A Logan County murder suspect, meanwhile, captured in Texas. 29-year-old Michael Dush is accused in the crossbow killing of an 84-year-old man in Logan County. That's not all. He is also facing murder charges out of Georgia. Last month, a family member found 84-year-old William Harris dead inside his home near Delaware, Arkansas. That's in Logan County. Investigators say Harris was killed with a crossbow, and they believe he had been dead for about a week. Police in Texas able to spot Dush and arrest him after finding him in a stolen RV. They say they also found documents linking him to both murder victims and a crossbow inside that RV. Dush was extradited to Georgia to face murder charges there. He's expected to be brought back to Arkansas soon. Tonight, we're learning everyone on board a helicopter that plunged into the Hudson River in New York City this afternoon has died. Crews have pulled what's left of sightseeing helicopter out of the water. People got a glimpse of the crash, but we want to warn you, the video is hard to watch. Bradley Blackburn is in Manhattan tonight.
The man who shot this video, Bruce Wall, says he saw the helicopter break apart in the air before it crashed into the Hudson River near Hoboken, New Jersey.
The tail came off and then just flipped over in midair and started falling into the ground, propeller still propelling.
Other witnesses gave similar descriptions of the chopper plunging a few feet from the shore.
The helicopter was a little bit like nose down slightly, and I saw the propeller separating from the helicopter. It kept spinning in the air alone. Nothing was attached to it.
The NYPD says a family on board was visiting from Spain.
It's very sad to hear that people coming from vacation and then they end up this way.
The NYPD received numerous 911 calls reporting the crash just after 3 p.m. Within minutes, NYPD and FDNY dive teams went into the Hudson and recovered all the victims from the water.
When an emergency like this happens and strikes, this team responds with expert speed and professionalism.
4 of the victims were pronounced dead on scene, and 2 others died at the hospital. The Bell 206 chopper was flying with New York Helicopters Tour Company. New York City Mayor Eric Adams says helicopter rides are generally safe.
We take thousands of tourist flights. There are many flights that are here, and helicopters are safe.
The National Transportation Safety Board will investigate what caused the crash. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
Back here at home, we're learning the Siloam Springs City Administrator has resigned. Alan Gilbert has submitted his resignation to the board. It comes about a week after the board issued a reprimand to Gilbert for violating city policy. It was never, though, discussed what policy he had violated. The board has nominated Kevin Moore as interim city administrator until Christina Petrix can take over the role on May 5th. According to the city, Patriox has been serving as the finance director and treasurer in Siloam Springs. Switching gears now, when it comes to school safety, you might see some changes in Springdale next year. All 4 Springdale middle schools and Rollins Elementary School in Tawnytown will transform from school resource officers to commissioned school safety officers. District says they already have CSSOs at 18 elementary campuses around the district. School resource officers are sworn law enforcement, while CSSOs are school district employees. But the district says the mission is the same: to confront threats in school buildings with lethal force if necessary. That change is expected to go into effect next school year.